Elizabeth, thanks for that. We give you these live pictures right now. Left side of your screen is Sky 5 video of the plane crash right there. A live look right now. And top right is the view from the premier parking at Terminal 1 across a secondary runway there into that grassy area where a fixed-wing single-engine plane crashed just after 10 o'clock this morning.
And the bottom right picture there, that is a live view at RDU Airport Authority. We are waiting that news conference as folks get ready to start that news conference. They're just doing some mic checks and some setup there as reporters wait for this news conference. We hope to learn more information about what caused the crash, but as you heard Elizabeth talk about, the weather conditions anyway was dry at the time, light breeze, but nothing that would necessarily impact a flight. And as we look live there, let's listen in to the RDU Airport Authority about this crash.
All right, good. Good afternoon. My name is Michael Landguth, President and CEO of Raleigh-Durham Airport Authority, and I'll go ahead and spell that. Last name is Landguth, L-A-N-D-G-U-T-H. First, I want to extend my thoughts to those affected by this morning's aircraft accident and thank our first responders for their quick action to respond. The Airport Authority and its mutual aid partners responded to an aircraft accident at RDU involving a general aviation aircraft. The accident occurred at approximately 10:10 a.m. in the grass next to runway 5 right, 23 left. The flight was arriving from Wilmington, North Carolina. The aircraft is owned by Medical Air, Inc. and operated by UNC Air Operations. The aircraft had 2 people on board, 1 pilot and 1 passenger. Both were transported to area hospitals. The Federal Aviation Administration issued a ground stop that was lifted at approximately 11:30 this morning. The Federal Aviation Administration and the National Transportation Safety Board have both been notified. The National Transportation Safety Board is en route and expected to arrive within the next hour, at which time we will conduct an accident investigation. RDU's runway 5 left, 23 right reopened to departing and arriving aircraft around 11:30 a.m. this morning. RDU is experiencing approximately 70 delays and several arriving flights were diverted to other airports until ground stop was lifted. Travelers should contact their airline for the latest updates regarding the flight status. And of course, questions about the identity and condition of the pilot and passenger should be directed to UNC Health. And at this time, I'll try to answer any questions you may have.
I want to go back with WTP. Have you known of any other accidents in the past with UNC Air Health?
I'm not familiar with any other accidents that have occurred with that operation.
Preliminary, what made that?
I don't know. That's the role of the National Transportation Safety Board. They'll actually come in and do the investigation. And at some point in the future, they'll write up a report and determine what the cause of the accident was.
Do you know if anyone was alerted that there was a problem with the plane when it was incoming?
There was no notification to the Airport Authority or to the FAA about any type of emergency on board.
Do we have any idea of the extent of the injuries to the people on the aircraft?
We don't. All we know that we've got them out of the airplane and we've got them transported to local hospitals.
We know situations like this and delays have a ripple effect on flights. Do we have any idea what type of impact we'll see here at RDU and for how long it may last?
Not sure, but what we're going to encourage everybody to do is reach out to your airlines. They'll be able to give you real-time information about the impact of your particular flight.
Do you know where some of those flights were diverted to?
I believe some of them went to Greensboro, and I think a couple went to Charlotte as well.
Will any flights be impacted due to the NTSB investigation?
Say that one more time.
You said the NTSB is coming in.
Correct.
Will that impact flights at all in any way?
At this point in time, what we call the west side of our airport is now open. The investigation they'll conduct will all be on the east side. So at this point, we are anticipating normal operations, returning to normal operations from this point forward. I don't think that anything that they're doing regarding the investigation or where they would have to investigate would have any impact to the west side of the airport.
So the debris is off the airfield? The aircraft is off? What has been moved?
No, the aircraft is still on the airfield itself. It's on the east side of the field. So Terminal 1, that runway is the east side of the field. That's where the debris field actually sits. The west side of the field is open and operational and safe to operate.
Was there any communication between the pilot and aircraft control before that crash?
Not that I'm aware of.
All right, one more question.
In operations for RDU throughout this event today, what was your main concern concerning the passengers that were in terminals and passengers already on the ground?
I think our primary focus when that accident occurred were the two people sitting in that aircraft. Our primary mission is to make sure we can get to them and try to rescue them and try to make sure that we can get them in a safe condition as fast as we possibly can. Secondarily is trying to figure out then how we recover and get our operations back up and running.
Considering the crashes on the inside of the airport, how does that affect what goes on in Terminal 1 at this point for the rest of the day?
Yeah, so great question. So the team has figured out a way to get all the aircraft that are going to operate at Terminal 1, your southwest of Velos. We've got a crossover taxiway that we can actually get them through. Our general aviation aircraft, we've got a crossover taxiway we can get them to. But the rest of the accident scene is actually kind of isolated and closed and locked off.
So it would be business as usual if you were someone that was flying out of Terminal 1, if you had a flight out of Terminal 1?
Yeah, if you're at Terminal 1 at this point in time, once they can get back on their schedule, it's going to be normal operations.
All right, thank you guys. If you have any other questions, please contact Media Relations.
All right, thank you.
Michael Languth, we're hearing from right there from the RDU Airport Authority, telling us what he knows to this point. And maybe, Renee, the biggest thing that jumps out is that there was no prior warning to this. There was no indication ahead of landing, no notification that there was anything wrong with this plane before it landed.
And Jeff, that fact aligns with what we heard from our aviation expert Jim Krause earlier about when he was looking at this wreckage. He does not believe that there was any kind of vertical downward component to this crash, that he believes perhaps that this plane was able to touch down on the runway and then some issue occurred where then it resulted in all that damage and ending up in that grassy airfield. However, the FAA and the NTSB will be the ones to investigate, and we've learned that the NTSB investigators are en route. They're expected within the hour over to that area to conduct their investigation as to why this plane crashed.
So a lot of delays, several diversions, but Terminal 1 is on the east side of the airport. That is where the investigation will take place. Terminal 2 should not be affected by this, and they are back to landing and taking off planes right there.
And if you're just joining us now here for our 12:30 half hour, we are covering this small plane crash out at RDU International Airport that happened about 2.5 hours ago, or 10:10 in the morning. This plane was coming from Wilmington and clearly ran into some issues there as it touched down there near Terminal 1. We've learned that this is a medical services plane operated by UNC Health, and on board there was a pilot and a passenger. That passenger is a doctor with UNC Health. We do not know their conditions. They were both taken to be treated at a hospital.
We want to listen to this broadcastified recording right now, really the first indication of any problem. Listen to this.
Hey, it's Carly Haynes with WRAL. We are here in Richmond Airport after being diverted up in the air. I was coming in from a flight in New York City, and we were right above RDU about to land when the pilot came over the intercom and said that we'd have to hover for a little bit. About 30 minutes later, he said that due to an incident at the airport, we'd have to go back to Richmond in order to get gas and figure out next steps. So here we are, the entire plane that I was on from New York City. We are now in Richmond International Airport waiting to see when we can board the plane, get our bags, and hopefully head back on to RDU.
Carly Haynes right there, not broadcastified. Carly Haynes in a situation similar to a lot of folks right now, but ended up in Richmond when she wanted to be here at RDU.
Yeah, hopefully safe travels for her and all those other passengers as they got diverted. At least they had a place to stay, and then hopefully on their way back to RDU later this afternoon. Let's go to Michelle McConaughey in the WRAL Live Center with some new information. Michelle.
Yeah, here in the WRAL Live Center, we're keeping an eye on flight cancellations and delays, and we just saw Carly Haynes' video there. She got diverted to Richmond, and I mean, that is the scene for a lot of people right now. RDU showing 69 delays. We were just with you about 10 minutes ago reporting 70 delays, so it went down by 1. No cancellations have been reported all morning long since the plane crashed. We've really just been dealing with these delays. We started with 6, and that slowly started to climb. Again, that portion of the runway where that plane crashed, obviously, that is not, no planes are taking off from there, but planes are flying out of Terminal 2. They are trying to get people out of the airport. They're trying to get flights moving again. Delays going down by 1. That counts for something. So 69 delays right now at RDU.
All right, Michelle McConaughey in the Live Center for us, a very active place. And Terminal 2 is becoming more active now as well.
That's where we find WRA's Sean Gallagher. Let's check in with him once again. And Sean, how's the mood out there? Have you been able to talk with more folks out there? How are they taking all this?
Yeah, we're standing here right outside of where people come out from their flights, and the people that I've spoke to so far have no idea that there are any delays here. But I did talk to one man who just walked out. He's actually going home. His flight was supposed to take off from here, but he headed home because they said it's going to be about 5 or 6 hours before he can get out of here. Now, I want you to take a look over at the TSA lines here. Really going smoothly, no issues whatsoever. It's really smooth sailing, but there are still those delays that folks are dealing with. I actually spoke with a woman who was headed out of the country for a wedding, and she likely going to miss her connection. But after hearing what happened, really put all this in perspective for her. It sounds like we don't have that soundbite, but she really made her think, having a delay like this, it can be annoying. It can be really troublesome, especially when you have that international connecting flight to try and catch. Maybe you only have an hour, but, thinking about the impact that this could have had on people really made her think about, the family that she's going to see and how excited she is to see them. But right now we're going to try to talk to some folks as they come out, maybe some of those folks who were diverted or delayed from landing here at Raleigh.
All right, a lot of folks there at RDU International giving grace, understanding the situation at hand, and then hopefully being able to get back on a plane and get to where they need to be.
Yeah, a lot of business to take care of, certainly at the airport, getting caught up on all that. Ken Smith right now is with us. Tell us what we know about that plane and the crew. Small crew it was.
Yeah, a very small crew. Of course, we're very concerned about exactly what happened with them. We're working to get their ID and their information. But this was a single-engine Cicada plane that seats about 6 people. The tail number is registered to the Medical Air Inc., according to the FAA. Now, we do know that that company is now part of UNC's Air Operations. That's a health transport service that takes medical residents, university faculty, and other professionals to different locations around the state. Now, this plane that crashed today at RDU International is one of 6 in that fleet, and according to the company's website, they typically fly 5 to 7 flights every day, usually with between 1 to 3 people on board. An average day for one of these planes could be flying a UNC Chapel Hill dental school faculty to a conference, maybe in Asheville, or possibly bringing medical residents to Wilmington to see patients at a clinic there. Well, we do know that this plane took off from ILM Airport in Wilmington this morning at about 9:30 before crashing here at RDU International. As we take a live look now from Sky 5 at the wreckage there on that grassy area there at RDU International. UNC Health says the pilot and physician on board were taken to the hospital this morning. We are working to get the identity of the pilot and the physician. As soon as we get that information and how they're doing, we'll share it.
All right, Ken, thanks for that.
And also within the last 10 minutes, when we listened into the RDU Airport Authority official speak, Michael Landguth, the big takeaway was there was no notification from anyone on that plane about any kind of emergency on board to the FAA or to RDU Authority. They did not learn about this until the plane made contact there with the ground and then ran into these issues there. As the NTSB will be the one to determine what exactly went wrong here. 2
people taken to area hospitals, he also added, and we do hope that they're going to be okay out of all this. We're going to step aside. We'll be right back. Monica Casey has more from out at RDU International Airport with the best view that we can get right there on top of the parking deck and Sky 5 live pictures as well.